Hi guys. So you decided to go to my page. Wow, I'm honored. Welcome to Balanced with a D. Okay, but jokes aside, welcome to Balanced and welcome to my first episode ever. And tonight I'm going to be hosting some of my friends as we just chat about the struggles that women face in the working place.
Bro, drugs, you don't like it? Find another job.
If you don't like it, find another job. That's what they say.
So that's what they say. I mean, if you don't like it, find another job. You pee and you take 34 minutes and you get on your period.
So those peeing moments have to be minus in your salary as well, because your pee is a bit longer because you may be on your period.
Yeah.
Like, how is that even a real thing?
Well, I think on top of that, they're saying that peeing as a woman in general, forget a period even, just takes longer. You just have to wipe. You still have to wipe.
You have to be hygienic.
Yeah, oh yes, yeah.
So, like, for me, that's when I realized that we're not, as South African women, this is not a us thing. It's not an us problem. It's a global problem. And it's not just where as far as my eyes can see, it's a corporate issue. The struggles that a woman goes through in corporate, it's actually across all industries. And I mean, Debbie is, what's her name? Is it Debbie?
It's Debbie.
Yeah, and she's a welder right now. She's a welder. She's a single mom. She's a welder, and
she's not getting paid the same.
A man is protected and they put on this pedestal, right? And that's at home. And then trickles back into the workplace, right? Like, you forget that your mom would have the same struggles if she was working when she was, raising you.
I just wish also we didn't have to even bring out like relation, like you forget your mom or your sister or your, like, why do you have to be in relation to someone, as opposed to you forget that another human being exists in the space, and sometimes their experience of the world is very different and specific. So these things about menstruation, we're human beings, but our experience of the world is specific and is not allowed to be in any space. The fact that now she's getting minus because she's having this natural experience is absurd. Yeah.
As a black woman, fortunately but unfortunately, you are inherently a fighter.
Yeah.
So in every situation that you put into...
Wow, did you guys hear
that's
that?
Beautiful. That's hectic as well. So
in every situation that you put into, as foreign as it may be, you adapt to it. You don't have any choice. And I think that's my journey in the field that I've been in. I got to a point where I applied for jobs, and that is the company that took me. They took me because I was a quota. Right? Not even, they were not apologetic in announcing it. I had this young girl saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I've got 2 Indians, 2 blacks, and 2 colors.
Wow.
Is
she in a managerial position?
No, she's not. She was just in a position of privilege.
Unaware
Unaware of what she's exposing herself to in saying those things, But because I'm so vulnerable and it's a means to an end, you almost have to suck it in. It's unfortunate that my friends have been subject to all my moanings, right? But I think for me, I appreciate that I embarked on this journey later rather than at a younger stage, because I had a sense of maturity and I was able to see that it's a means to an end, and substance over matter, right?
So I experienced that at an earlier age. So I think for me, I can truly recall and say the first time I ever felt black was in the workplace when I started with my first proper job, right? So I even moved, the environment was different. I moved from Joburg to Cape Town, and I just sort of understood things that were systematic, how systematic things would work. Like an example, if you are in a legal field and the case is in Afrikaans, and you as an Afrikaans person can read it and write a legal opinion in Afrikaans to give to an Afrikaans partner, it automatically shuts me out.
Excluded.
So like you're here but you're not here.
Yeah.
Right? And it honestly felt like, and I think towards the end, I think for me that's why I had to leave that environment, and I was so like hurt by it because I was also so young. I had so much fire, and I think that's why I made the decision like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I can't do this and stuff like that, because she says that what she's saying is she was able to see it as a means to an end now because she's older and more mature.
Yeah.
I was probably too young and passionate
Yeah.
to handle that kind of situation.
And it was a shock.
Yeah.
A shock. When I was a student, I lived in a bubble. Then I started working in Cape Town. And that was something else. And I think I literally speak for majority of black women. I couldn't even step out to a restaurant without having people look at me like, are you sure you're supposed to be here? And I think to some extent,
you have to like have an accent when you're phoning a restaurant to make a reservation.
Make a reservation. It's Andy. I'm no longer Andile. It's Andy. Bazobona phambili.
Yeah.
Guys, it can get petty. Whether you guys go and congregate and have coffee with each other, out of not even of your own doing, you are forced to have me in this space, and I am afforded these opportunities by virtue of your privilege and you being miles ahead of me. I am going to take in as much as I have to take in. I'm not here to have coffee with you. And I've had those moments where people will have friends. Oh, Sima, why don't you come have lunch with us? What lunch am I having? When for 2 seconds you'll speak English and for the rest of the hour you're going to break out in Afrikaans.
Wow.
I would much rather be on Twitter or Instagram.
Like,
right? Because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm talking and then I get lost. And you know what? Before I used to be intimidated because I thought it was personal. It's not. It's their level of comfort and confidence in their own self.
Precisely. Can I tell you, at my previous workplace, I mean, like you say, you get comfortable because you think, you know what, I literally look at this person, I work with them every day, let's make the most of it. So, I mean, Sima, like they call her at work.
Yes, Andy.
Sima.
I quite love it.
Sima.
Yeah, Sima.
I mean, I played that game for a while, and it was my first job when I got to Joburg, and my manager was an Afrikaans woman, and she earned more than me, so I let her buy me these coffees, and while we had walked down to the coffee store, I'd share a little bit of my life with her. So she knew that I was dating this Afrikaans speaking guy. He is black, mind you. So she knew that about me, and so months down the line, we're conducting my performance appraisal, and she brings up the fact that in meetings with suppliers, I don't contribute. So I say to her, so our MD is in the meeting, there's our MD, our client service director, it's herself, my line manager, and then myself. So I'm like, I'm going to use this opportunity to actually expose her. So she's in a meeting. She's telling me that I'm sort of incompetent and not fostering relationships with suppliers because I keep quiet in meetings. And I need to be more interactive and proactive and, include myself. So I raised the fact that, no, with this particular supplier, which is our biggest supplier, you guys conduct your meetings in Afrikaans. So she says, the nerve.
Oh, man.
She says, oh, but she has a boyfriend who speaks Afrikaans and she lives with him.
No.
That was her.
That's some tea.
That's her excuse.
Wow.
Like, surely you live with this guy. He speaks Afrikaans.
So you guys
surely
together.
surely he's teaching you. Surely he's teaching
Why
you.
not judging? I know. I get that as well. Well, Sima, why don't you know? Like, you should learn Afrikaans.
So why don't you know
say-
Zulu?
Have you, like, at least one of the
I
11?
get that. I'm like, hoe gaan het met jou?
Totsies, Macy's.
That's
That's it. That's it for me.
I mean, with like, I will. I mean, I've got a very sharp tongue, but I tame it because of the means to an end.
Is it fair that we live our lives thinking or having to do a means to an end?
Yeah.
Not everyone is built to be a Winnie Mandela, and
And
I
a
always
fighter.
say that.
You're always the last to finish your food.
I know I'm
Khali.
such a slow eater. But anyway,
I think that's why you're so tiny.
maybe,
So it works.
maybe, yeah.
Speaking of that, body shaming. Hello. How is that for you guys? I mean, I know that, like, at work, I'll be eating the same rusk, and for as long as somebody sees me eating it, they'll walk past me and come back, and they'll assume that it's another one, and then they'll come to me and say, "Hey, wena uyayithanda ukudla kwakho." And it's and it's so easy to say that because I'm not the smallest person in the room, and then I'm not ashamed to tell people I'm a foodie and I'm comfortable with that. But why do you get to
Comment
Why do you get to
what
comment?
I look like?
on my body.
And why do you get to allude? Yeah. So
It's absolute rubbish.
I think it's all spaces, but I think it's even more like weird at work when you have like men groping on you, or like not groping, but you know how it feels that sometimes there is subtle or overt sexual harassment. And it just makes you feel like you are on show,
Yeah.
or you're like, I don't know how you guys feel. What do you guys feel about the whole situation?
I think it's this. I honestly feel the same. Like, I think I had an example, or I had an instance once at work where usually I wear very loose-fitting dresses because I feel like I want to be taken seriously as what I do, not what I look like.
Exactly.
So I've been forced myself to dress a certain way. So I wore something was tight-fitting once. And one of the guys I worked with was like, "Ooh, you should dress like this more often." I stood there and I was just like, in his head, is this a compliment to you? Like, are you being nice to me? I'm like, imagine if I had to say, I don't know, like, ooh, you
Wear
like,
grey sweatpants that show the print more
do
often.
you understand?
Yeah.
Like, that's harassment.
that is harassment.
And I don't even see it as
unwelcome.
that.
It's unwelcome.
I mean, in my field of work,
Yeah.
I'm quite old. A lot of the article clerks are 23, 24 years old.
Absolutely.
And people,
Entering
because
the
of my
working
body size, assume that I'm young.
Yeah.
And then until I mention my age, they're like, you know. So there's all those aspects where you feel like you have to be louder and you have to be more professional and you have to be more of everything just to assert your position and to be heard. And I've always said, I feel like
a child.
yeah, I have to be heard because I'm conscious of my body or how I look, because people won't take you seriously because you need to look a certain way.
So, like you say, being taken seriously. Snare, when we were offline, you were starting to tell us how people are assuming you're a nurse. How does that play out? Like, how do you look like a nurse all of a sudden?
The worst thing is you'll be in scrubs and that'll say doctor this.
So you're a doctor.
And then, or you'll have your state or whatever, like you'll be working and then people will still be like, listen. Because I feel like, I don't know whether it's the human mind or the male mind, there are things we choose not to see or choose not to understand.
Yeah.
I've had a situation where I've had a colleague who, even from med school, we were both studying to be doctors, and he was praised for it, and he became a doctor, and it was this great thing, like, oh my God, you're going to save lives.
Yeah.
I became a doctor, and I was, do you know what I mean? We're doing the same thing. It is the exact same thing. How is he this amazing human that saves lives, and I need to get married?
And you need to get married and have children.
and I've done nothing with my life because I'm not married.
Basically.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I want to find out about
crazy.
like when you had your child, the maternity leave, because that's also something.
So I wasn't working when I had my child, but now as a working mom, I've said that I'm very conscious about my responsibility as a mother. Like for me, I hate it, but I've had to be very conscious about not being a working mom. Because the first question that I was asked is, are you a mom? And I felt like the reason why they were quite hesitant with employing me was because I was a mom and how I would factor
and
in.
also you're doing your articles.
Yes,
you're
quite
spending
demanding.
Yeah.
So I feel like I sacrificed myself a lot. And I think in my first year of articles, I wanted to prove that my child is not an obstacle.
You know, working world, there are only so many women. Unfortunately, Sneh is not here, the other Sneh. And I'd love to have a conversation about being a CEO as a female, you know. So there's only so many women in these levels, and we still have a bit of a long way to go in that sense. Yoguti, how do we share that space as women? And how do we have that code? How do we stick with each other as colleagues? How do we share each other's successes? How do we push each other forward, you know? Because the bro code, even at the workplace, will be like, dude,
let's go.
Let me teach you this thing.
The guys will easily get whatever your piece of the pie, but as us, it's almost like we always have to fight and scramble for whatever's left over. It's not just equally given to Khali or Sneh or Andy. We have to fight for it. And essentially that's what happens in relationships. So the same theme is carried out in every aspect of our lives. We're always having to like scramble.
We're fighting.
It's inherent.
Always.
It's a natural survival of the fittest. So should we not then embrace it?
And do what with it? No.
I don't want to
embrace. But I think we need to not use it as a point of weakness, but use it as a strength.
Yeah.
How?
Instead of fighting against each other, it's just a spirit of fighting.
Let's just be sister wives, guys.
No.
Let's work together in this thing.
No, I'm not saying fight against each other, but that spirit of fighting.
Let's work together.
Let's just have
that and use it in the right
channel it in the right way.
Yeah.
Oh, so we fight together, not each other.
Yes.
Oh.
We can't run away from
and
the
pick
fighting.
those struggles, pick those battles that you want to fight.
But we need to celebrate our womanhood.
Yes.
We're not trying to be like men.
I think it's been such a great evening, and
thank you, hostess.
Yes, thank you for contributing, and I'm so blessed to have a dynamic group of friends. I mean, one is on her way to being a CA.
Yes.
The other one is coming out of this lawyer life and owning her space, the first lady, entrepreneur, doing the most, who also happens to be my producer, of course. And then we have our latest guest who has joined on, and she's a doctor and ready for specializing. And then behind the camera is, of course, Usanele, who was with us earlier on. And yes, and this is how we wrap up this lovely evening with the ladies and our struggles in the working world and the city of Johannesburg.
Whatever it is to Uhuru, freedom.
We are not
Freedom.